Welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. I am your host, Kevin, and with me is my co-host. He is my Robin to my Batman, my cheese and my cheeseburger, and my Bo to my Luke Duke. What's going on, man?
You bring a tear to a man's eyes. Oh my God. All right, not much. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. A couple of rumors that's happening. And again, these are just rumors. Vince McMahon has reportedly been speaking to the executives of Fox News about starting a new wrestling promotion. This is coming from sources who are supposedly close to Vince McMahon. Again, it's just a rumor. I really don't believe it myself, but it's out there. And then the other rumor is John Cena going to be going against Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I don't know why. I maybe a storyline is going to develop this weekend with the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I don't know. But again, like I said about the first rumor, I really don't believe it. It's out there, though.
It's just a passing of the torch, possibly. Who knows? Yeah. I'm not in favor of it, but I'm not in the position to argue it or change it. So,
right.
All right. So then, I guess the other news that I saw was Ric Flair gave an interview stating that he wasn't overly pleased with John Cena breaking his record, but he did give a top 3 of who he'd want to break his record. His daughter being the first one, and I think that's apples to oranges considering it's females versus males. But 17 or 18 times is 18 times, and Charlotte's still got 4 more to go. So I don't see her breaking that anytime soon. Randy Orton is another one that's in the running. He's at 14 times. So again, he's got 4 more to go, and I don't see that really happening in his career, to be honest. I could see him hitting a 15 though. That'd be nice. And then John Cena was the final one that he acknowledged. But again, he didn't sound overly excited about John Cena taking it.
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber match and give our predictions. Man, I'm getting a lot of feedback noise, and I changed equipment. I wonder if it's coming from your end for some reason.
Could be. Let me try turning the volume down a little bit, because I think that helped last time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Still getting feedback, you think?
No, that seems to be much better. Much better.
All right, so maybe my volume's too high.
Yeah, that's much better. The thing with John Cena is, for some reason, I just don't think he's going to take the title. I just don't.
Oh, I think he is. I think it's a given. Whether it's at WrestleMania or SummerSlam, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm relatively sure he's going to take it sometime in his final year, to be honest. Will he be a national champ? Most likely.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll find out soon enough. The Elimination Chambers is Saturday, so we'll see who wins that.
Yep. Yes, we will. So, ready to break into AEW?
Yeah, AEW was a good show. I enjoyed it. This is the 3rd week in a row that I didn't have any issues with it for the most part. There's some little things out there, but for the most part, it was a good show. I didn't have a problem with it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a smaller venue, but it looked like it was almost fully packed, I think. I'd still say 6,000 to 8,000 people, but yeah. It was a decent crowd.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they recognize that they need to go to a smaller venue because, you take 6,000 to 7,000 people and you put them in a bigger venue where it's 14,000 maximum. It makes it seem like it's just dead. The energy isn't there versus the smaller venue where the energy of the crowd is coming through.
Yep. So, All right. So, anyways, we start out with Cope showing up in an ambulance, pretty much saying he's going to take out all the Death Riders one by one. Um, he's already taken out Pac, so you know. Next, we go to an I don't know what you call it, a video, I guess, an MGF. Looks like he's getting a tattoo removal, which at the end they showed that there was no tattoo there, and it wasn't that it was removed because you'd see some sort of remnants of it, But okay, whatever. I'm assuming he was trying to allude that he took off the AEW tattoo he got, but whatever. Also, I hear that's kind of a painful process, and he didn't flinch a bit.
No.
I don't know. I've never had a tattoo. I've never had tattoo removal, so I don't know. Anyways, MJF is tired of the AEW fans. They're tired of, or he's tired of giving his all, and they cheer for Hangman versus him. In a way, I can see that because MJF is kind of underrated as far as ability. His match with Dana Bryan was really super good. I thought he's had some other outstanding matches. I don't think any of them been 5-star by any stretch of imagination, but there are probably some 2 or 3 good 4-star ones. MGF is great on the mic. He is above average in the ring, to be honest. And I don't think anybody really has to carry him in either aspect, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as great as he claims he is, but he's damn good.
Yeah, I think that the crowd doesn't boo him because he's bad in the ring. The crowd boos him because of his attitude. Uh, he is the bad guy. He is the heel. I personally, I like him. He adds a lot to the show. You could definitely tell the difference when he's not there. I'm just glad that we're back to seeing MJF being put or being booked where he should be booked at instead of the stupid shit that he was doing when he first came back. They're doing exactly what they should be doing with him. Being in a feud with Heyman Adam Page, this is going to be a damn good match. I know you don't think Heyman is that great on the mic. I don't have a problem with him on the mic, and I personally like whenever they're promoting against one another. I mean, and I'm really glad. Now, this is the thing too. This is major for me. I was so afraid that we were going to get the babyface version of Hangman Adam Page, which is the version that got booed out of the building after he won the title. And I don't think it was because he won the title. People want to see him get the title. It's because babyface Hangman Adam Page just fucking sucks. Angry Hangman Adam Page. This works for him. He needs to stay pissed. He needs to stay angry, and he needs to stay the guy that is really neither a baby face or a heel. He's just a guy that wants what he wants. And if you fuck with him, you deal with the consequences. I like this version of him.
Actually, honestly, I saw shades of, and I'm gonna kick myself for saying this because
Don't say it.
I think it's a slap in the face. But I saw shades of Magnum TA and Hangman last night.
I knew you were going to say that. I fucking knew it. Magnum TA, who has been on this podcast, I'm not sure if you take time out or not to watch the shittiest podcast out there, but if you do, I apologize to you, sir. My guy, he's a little goofy sometimes. I think he might have bumped his head. No way in shape did I see version of Magnum TA last night.
Hold on though, because you knew what I was gonna say. Okay. And with that being said, imitation is the highest form of flattery. All right. Now believe me, in my youth, before Magnum had his accident, Magnum TA was a god walking the earth as far as I was concerned. All right. And next to the Benoit tragedy, Magnum TA not being able to wrestle was probably the second worst thing to happen to wrestling.
Look, and I'm being dead serious right now. And this is what I honestly believe. So anybody out there that thinks I'm crazy, I don't care. This is my opinion. I have always firmly believed that if there was never a Magnum TA accident, we would have never had a Hulk Hogan run, a WWE run like we had. Magnum TA was on that road to be the guy that was going to be the guy that was going to change professional wrestling. Starcade. We would have Starcade instead of WrestleMania, in my opinion, if Magnum TA would have never gotten injured. Because if you think about it, who was the first guy that Vince McMahon wanted to? Who's the first guy that Vince McMahon talked to and wanted to be that guy in the position Hulk Hogan was in?
I thought it was Dusty Rhodes, to be honest.
It was 100% Dusty Rhodes. So let's think about this. You have the guy who is Vince McMahon's first choice, Dusty Rhodes, that was with Magnum TA. Both of these guys in one promotion, they would have taken the world over in professional wrestling. I have no doubt. Starcade, which was a success, the very first one, right? It would have been beyond that if Magnum TA wouldn't have gotten injured. Magnum TA would have had that belt, and he would have had it just as long as Hogan had his belt, if not longer. And I'm telling you, the world of professional wrestling would be different in the sense of we wouldn't be saying, thank you, Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, for your part in making wrestling explode and having what we have now. We'd be saying, thank you, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA, for making the wrestling explode and for us having what we have now. But then you have to ask you this question, though, Mark. If it would have went that way, Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes being the ones that caused the first explosion of professional wrestling. Because remember, that first explosion kind of cooled down and wrestling was starting to get in that troublesome water until the whole NWA thing started, which called the Attitude Era. And that was the second explosion, right? My question for you is this. If Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes would have been the ones who caused that first explosion of professional wrestling, would professional wrestling have cooled off like it did? And would we have had that second explosion for us to be where we're at now with professional wrestling? Because if it would have been Dusty and Magnum, we wouldn't have had a Kevin Nash and a Scott Hall and the NWO. Who knows what we would have had, but we would have had the guys that caused that second explosion to, for us to be where we're at now.
Okay, so first of all, are you talking about Dusty and Magnum TA going to WWF at the time?
No,
But
no, nope. I'm saying Magnum and Dusty with the promotion, Jim Crockett promotion. That's where the first Starcade was with. That would have been the WrestleMania.
Okay, well, first of all, I think Vince would have stole Dusty and Magnum. Second of all, I think, hold on. This is my opinion.
I know, but let me remind you of something. And I respect your opinion, but let me remind you something. That's why I said no. Vince already wanted Dusty. Dusty said, no, I don't want that. This is not what I want. So let's remember, he left there for a reason. And Magnum was going to be loyal to Dusty Rhodes, without a doubt.
Okay, so all right, so this is how I look at it.
Sure.
Say WWE or WWF at the time had stole Dusty, Magnum would have gone with most likely. All right, I think Magnum would eventually eclipsed Dusty, and he would have been the Hulk Hogan. because he was younger than Hogan. He was probably almost as big, not quite as tall, but well, no, not quite as big, but I think he had just as much charisma.
Better looking. Better
Oh,
looking.
by far. But I think he would have been the one they would have hung their reins on and said, "Let's go, giddy up." All right. And I think Magnum would have been a good choice for this. Okay. Now, if you want to go Hogan at WWE and Magnum and Dusty stay at WCW, I think if there's no accident, I think the sky was the limit for Magnum TA without a
It wasn't
shadow.
Yeah, it wasn't WCW.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're right.
it was still
NW,
Jim Crockett. I think it was Atlanta Championship Wrestling, to be honest with you.
yeah, I think you're right, to be honest. Now, do I see Hulk Hogan going down there if Magnum TA is still, someone on the scope? No, I don't. Do I see Kevin Nash, Scott Hall? Possibly, possibly. But then who do you get to turn? Magnum, Dusty, whatever. Would it create a second boom? It's hard to say. I don't know.
But let me ask you this, Mark. You talked about Magnum and Dusty going to possibly WWF. The reason why I disagree with you, the only reason why I disagree with you with this is because you got to remember the whole WrestleMania thing and the Starrcade thing pretty much happened almost at the same time, right? And without WrestleMania, Starrcade would have been so much more than what it was. And it was a success. I'm not saying it was a failure. It was a success. But it would have been beyond that success if it wouldn't have been that WrestleMania. And the reason why I say what I did was because I don't think Vince McMahon would have tried to go that route and took the chance with WrestleMania if there would have been a Magnum TA and a Dusty Rhodes partner at Atlanta Championship Wrestling, doing this massive Starrcade thing. I just don't think Vince, as a businessman, would have done it. I think he would have said, "This is a little risky right now. We need to let the Starrcade thing play out before we try to do our thing." And I don't think he would have ever done it, though, because of the success Starrcade would have had without there being that WrestleMania and with Magnum TA being who he was. Because you got to remember, Magnum TA wasn't wrestling for a extremely he wasn't in professional wrestling for like all these years whenever he became popular. I mean, he had only been there, if I can remember correctly, in wrestling for 3 or 4 years, and he just, I mean, he was better looking than Hogan, better body. Hogan was bigger, muscular, but Magnum had a better body than Hogan did. He had more of a charisma. He had more of that energy and that fight about him. And on top of it, he was headed to have one of the best storylines with probably the most heat anyone could ever have with Nicholas Volkov or Nikolai Volkov, right?
The kid,
Now,
you mean?
Nikita Koloff, that's it, Nikita Koloff. Now, this is the thing, though. This was so funny. Without that accident, I don't know if Nikita Koloff would have reached the heights that he reached because he turned babyface almost immediately because of Magnum. There's so many things in professional wrestling happened because of that one accident, if you think about it. It's crazy.
No, let's not discredit Tully Blanchard either. Tully Blanchard had a great hand in molding and developing Magnum TA. Now, God, there's something else I was going to say and I forgot. But yeah, no, I think Tully versus Magnum TA was the best of seven. And in an I Quit match, by far best of seven I've ever seen, to be honest. Uh, Nikita Koloff, yeah, you're right. Absolutely turned instantaneously, just out of respect for Magnum TA. Whoever came up with that idea, stroke of genius. Oh, here's what I was thinking. Um, I want to agree with you on Starrcade, but I don't think Crockett had the vision that Vince had. I think vision wise, Vince was probably thinking 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And I don't think anybody in Crockett had that kind of visionary ability, to be honest.
Yeah, and I can, and
They
I agree. Go ahead. Go ahead.
a good local wrestling company? Yeah, they were. Or regional? Yes, they were. But I don't think anybody had the vision that Vince had, to be honest. So Vince might have put off WrestleMania for a year, possibly 2 years, but it was going to happen regardless.
So I do agree with you about Crockett not having the vision that Vince had, but that's okay. Do you know why? Someone else had that vision. That was Dusty Rhodes. This is why Dusty Rhodes is the one. It wasn't Crockett that created Starrcade. This was a Dusty Rhodes thing. And I think Dusty had that vision, but unfortunately, Vince McMahon got there first. I think money may have.
No, Vince got there second, but Vince did it better.
What do you mean Vince got there second? WrestleMania was before Starrcade.
No, Starrcade was first, and then WrestleMania came 4 months later, I believe.
Let me check. You might be right. Let me turn on my trusty.
Yeah, I think Starrcade came first, and I think WrestleMania came either 4 months later or 3 months later, or even possibly a year later, to be honest. I can't remember.
Well, even so, there was one thing that was into play, and that was money. No, Vince was able. Look, Vince took a big chance. He took out a mortgage against their home, everything that he had. And if this would have failed, then Vince McMahon would be like his brother, who was unknown. Did you know Vince had a brother?
No.
Most people don't. So let's see. It was Starrcade.
Was 82, I thought.
Let's see. Let's see here.
I'm relatively sure it was 82.
We're about to find out. So WrestleMania was 85.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Come on, Hunt and Peck, hurry up.
Hey man, I'm a pecker whenever I type.
We know you're a pecker, all right.
Let's see. Right here. So yeah, I'm fucked. So Starrcade was in 83. So it's 2 years before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I need to double check that date for WrestleMania.
Vince did it better. Because Vince was looking at a national level and Crockett was only looking at a regional level. Well, no, he was looking at a national level because it was cable.
Yeah.
But Vince just did it on a grander stage.
Yeah. So March 31st, 1985. But you know what? Now that we did this, it brought up a memory of an interview with Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes had claimed that Vince McMahon stole his Starrcade idea, or stole that idea from Starrcade and created WrestleMania. Now that we talked about that came up. And I got to tell you, even if Vince McMahon did steal that idea from Dusty and create WrestleMania, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that WrestleMania the very first one, look, Starrcade was a wrestling show. It was a big wrestling show. WrestleMania was an entertainment show.
Yep.
You had the star power there, celebrities. Starrcade didn't. So Vince basically took a Starrcade and added that element of entertainment to it. But again, the question is still if Magnum TA would have never been entered, would Vince McMahon been able to have a WrestleMania because of the focus of the fans being on this massive megastar Magnum TA?
I think it would have slowed the progress, but I think it eventually would have happened regardless.
Could be. You know what? And this is the bottom line. This is an opinion. This is a fact. It is the would-haves, should-haves. We'll never know. What to talk about, but we'll never know.
Right. So, all right. So anyways, back to the beans and rice. Page shows up for his match with Aaron Solo. Basically pulls in a lot, walks in the ring, takes his shirt off, and says, "Let's go." Against Aaron Solo. Aaron Solo is really mismanaged and misused. He's got a great background. I think he's got good ring skills, but just sorely misused. But Page makes short work of Solo, and then he demands MJF. MJF comes out looking like he's wearing a Kmart suit, to be honest. Comes out with a bloody rag. Later on, it shows that he apparently attacked Christopher Daniel. Let's see.
So let's stop right here for a second. You remember last week, I said, if we're going to have color in the match, let it be real. Look, I like the segment, but as far as, Christopher Daniels being busted open, his head looked like someone just took the fucking red Sharpie. Blood just doesn't it doesn't spread the way, and it's evenly coated. The blood aspect of it looked terrible. I don't even know why they thought they had to use color. This would have been just as effective as showing Christopher Daniels just knock the fuck out instead of using color. The rag that MJF, the white rag that he used that had blood looked terrible. So that part of the segment was terrible. Again, they could have just did what wrestling has done for years, had him knocked out Christopher Daniels, and it could have been the same effect. Besides that, I like this. Again, I just love the angry Adam Page. I love what he would talk his shit about MJF spray tan. I think that's great. But besides the awful looking fake blood, I didn't have any problem with it.
No, I thought it was a good segment, I guess is the best way I can put it.
You thought it was what?
A good segment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, do you agree with me about the whole blood thing?
Oh, God, yeah. No, the first thing I saw when I saw the Fallen Angel, I was like, God, that just looks horrible.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I really don't nitpick that hard. But when you did bring it up the other week, that was the first thing that flashed my mind is, God, that's horrible. The t-shirt didn't look bad per se, but his head definitely looked like it was horseshit.
And wait. There's one other thing too. Christopher Daniels had more blood on his shirts than he did coming out of his head. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that. It's like, if you're going to do color, you should have had Christopher Daniels use a fucking blade, cut himself open, and just let it flow naturally.
Yeah, he might be at that stage where he doesn't want to blade himself anymore. I don't know.
And you know what? I get that. And that's why I said that this would have been just as effective if he was just laid out, knocked out.
Yep, nope. I can't argue that. All right, so then we go to Don Callis and his group sitting in the crowd. Really, I don't know the purpose of that because they panned away pretty quick and went to Chris Jericho recap of Jericho versus Bandito, and then an interview with Chris Jericho where he sets up a match with the Bad Apple, Brian Keith versus Will Ospreay, and Don Callis agreeing to it, saying, "Oh, it's good enough for me. You know, I'll get your word on it. He'll take care of this. All right, that'll work." Which is odd because, like, what, a year ago, Chris Jericho and Don Callis were pretty much at each other's throats, maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And look, this is the thing. Did I like the match? I did. It was a decent match. It was the backstage shit that I didn't like. And I'll tell you why. Don Callis is going to Jericho and saying, hey, we want your guy to take out, Osprey. Right. And it's, the bounty. Why? Why would Don Callis be okay with this? Has Don Callis not been watching a product that he's actually involved in? The bounty has been pretty much a fucking jobber since he's came to AEW. So why the fuck would you think that this guy who loses way more than he wins would be the guy that could take out Ospreay? I mean, it,
Oh, then I misunderstood part of this because I thought there was a bounty on Will Ospreay's head.
they didn't even say that. They didn't say anything. They said that he's going to collect on his bounty, but what bounty? I had no idea of a bounty. Even during the promo, they didn't mention how much money he would get if he got his promo. Who was the other guy that the bounty was supposed to take out that had a big bounty on his head?
Bandito.
Bandito, exactly. So you mean to tell me Don Callis would have faith in a guy who couldn't beat Bandito, who, no respect to him, is way, way beneath Ospreay, but yet you believe that he's going to rise to the occasion to take out Ospreay? Come on. It's little shit like this that's annoying. I am okay with a match if they just said, there was a match for whatever reason besides this. Don Callis, didn't think he could take him out. The match was good. But the whole purpose of the match that they said was absolutely dumb. And it made Don Callis look like a bigger moron than what he is.
Okay, here's the problem I have. All right, there's never a speak of any bounty on Bandito or anybody else until I brought it up 2 weeks earlier. All right, which leads me to believe that somebody whispered in somebody's ear and somebody watched our podcast and stole my idea. So somebody owes me a paycheck. The other thing is, one bounty's fine. 2 bounties in 3 weeks? No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, unless
Dick Slater's involved.
By the way, I have still not heard anything back from AEW with the email that I sent them.
Oh, yeah. No news is good news.
Well, I'm guessing that maybe they look, why should we pay these guys? But we could just watch their podcast for free. Fuckers.
Right.
I'm so
they can steal our ideas for free, like the bounty. Because I know for a fact I mentioned the bounty before there's any bounty on anybody's head. I know I mentioned it.
You did. That's we're you know what? Tomorrow we're going to talk to the attorney.
Right.
First right. AEW.
Infringement.
That's right.
All right. So, and mental distress. All right. So to be honest, I really thought this was the best match I've seen Brian Keith have, to be honest. Now, did Will carry him? I don't know, maybe a little bit, but to be honest, I saw more effort and more ability. And I don't want to discredit him, but this is by far the best match I've seen him in. Maybe it's the caliber of person he was facing. He rose to the occasion. I don't think he's ever been a bad wrestler. He's never been highlighted like this, I guess. I don't know, but best match I've seen him have.
You know what, Mark? If you go watch some of Brian's matches on the independent scene on YouTube, the guy's good. I have no idea why they have him in stupid gimmicks. I have no idea why they haven't highlighted him beforehand. I don't know why they have not had him at least at the top tier mid-card level. I don't know, because the guy is good. So to your point about if Ospreay carried him or not, In my opinion, probably not. I think Brian, he is good. He's just not featured in anything good.
Yeah, it's like Air Fox. Air Fox is phenomenal. I think.
Dude, AR Fox could be teaching professional wrestling. He's just that good.
He
He's
should be.
another one. I don't get it. Matches with him against Will Ospreay, my fucking God. Don't
Yeah,
know.
if they just take the chains off these guys and let them roll, man, Osprey versus Air Fox would be phenomenal. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe an Air Fox versus the Bad Apple would be phenomenal.
AR Fox against fucking Ray Phoenix, to me, would be the match. I'm going to be way out there by saying this. Could potentially have the match of the year.
Yeah, if it's highlighted enough, yes. To be honest, but considering that Phoenix is going to WWE, where chances are we're not going to see that. And to be honest, I think Air Fox is probably in the twilight of his career. Although he looks phenomenal, he still moves phenomenal. But I think he's in the twilight. The guy's got 20 plus years, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yep, he does.
So I don't know. Osprey got the win. Will and Kyle Fletcher go at it in the crowd. And then it pans out. So then we do a recap of Grand Slam. Mariah versus Tony. I don't know why we're rehashing that. It's 10 days old, but whatever. I guess they're just trying to keep the story going, I guess. So next we go to a vignette of Mumau, which again, up until last week, I had no idea who Mumau was, or Mumo, sorry. Then we go to Monet, coming out with her 4 belts, Mac talking Mumo.
No, she was smack talking the girl with purple hair. Can't remember her name.
Can't remember her name, but apparently she's somebody there.
Yeah, I think she's ROH. But look.
Right. So Mumo tries to sneak attack Monet, and Monet catches it and runs off, but drops her TBS title.
I'll be honest. After that segment, I'm a little bit curious because she looked like she may be a little bit of a badass, just the way she was presented last night. With her carrying whatever she was carrying, a bat or pipe, whatever it would be. She cut that small promo. I don't think by any means Monet's going to drop the title, but I'm wondering if this is going to be a surprisingly good match.
She kind of reminded me of Bull.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Japanese wrestler Bull something. I can't remember her full name, but she kind of had shades of that kind of badass to her.
She actually reminded me. She reminded me of the person you speaking of, Bull, whatever her name is. If that Bull woman and Asuka were created the child, that's what she reminded me of, to be honest with you. I am guessing that, at least on her part, it's going to be a decent match just because she's coming from New Japan, and you're hard pressed to find anybody who's been with New Japan that's not good.
Right. So, all right. So next we go to Outrunners versus Murder Machine, which, by the way, I like that name, Murder Machine. What pissed me off about this one is I think it was Excalibur that said, "Oh, since they've been paired together, they're undefeated." What? Lilo Rush and Action Andretti beat them, and it's like, okay, don't try to bullshit me, don't play me for stupid.
This is what I hated. They pretty much dominated that match, which they should have. But the fact that all they do is hear the music of the Hurt Syndicate, and that causes Lance and Archer to lose so much focus that he is beat by one of the worst fucking pins you could have. I mean, is Lance Archer that weak in his fucking legs that he couldn't kick out? Because the guy who was barely fucking on him, was barely on his legs. He should have easily kicked out of this. Once again, these guys are treated like they're lower mid card and they are enhanced talent. And guys that size, love the name as well. These guys, this should have been a squash match last night. These guys should be killing talent.
Right, they should be.
Now, when they finally had that match against the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Syndicate should be able to run over them and beat them like they're little children. There's no type of excitement on my part to see this match. Because again, Leo Rush and Action Andrade beat them. Last night they got beat by guys that should have beat them all because they lost focus by hearing fucking music. You listen to the goddamn fans chant "you suck" during the whole match, but yet hearing music is what's going to cause you to lose again in a roll-up. That's terrible.
All right, now to be fair, I do like the Outrunners. I know you don't care for them yourself. I do like them. I do like the cheesy entrance they had where it was kind of static and 80s looking. I loved it. Great, wonderful. I think they're trying to recreate the timeless Tony Storm to a degree, but in an 80s retro thing. All right. I do like the Outrunners, but I gotta say, I agree that the Murder Machine should have just dominated these guys, and they did, you know. And
Right.
I can see the storyline saying, "Oh, he was distracted, whatever, whatever." But as much as I like the Outrunners, Murder Machine I like just as much, if not more. And they should have pinned these guys, and it should have been, Brian Cage looks like he could pass for Dr. Death Steve Williams' cousin or brother, even.
Yeah.
And Brian Cage is seriously underutilized. The guy's phenomenal.
And Mark, this wasn't even about the Outrunners. It really wasn't. It's no disrespect to them. They're talented guys. But you're talking about guys who are constantly being featured promo-wise as monsters. And they get in a ring and they turn into chumps. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Whoever
First of all,
whoever was the producer of this match or the booker, whatever you want to call them, the agent, whatever they are, they should be fired. 100%.
Now, to be fair, we've never seen Lance Archer's legs, so he could be skipping leg day, and he could have some chicken legs. All right, we don't know. All right, we don't know.
You're reaching now, buddy.
All right, so let's see, where are we? Then we go to a Cope vignette talking about Death Riders. Mox gives a response. Claudio is hunting Cope. Not Hope or Cope hunting them. You know what? I really lost interest in all this so far. I like Cope and I hope he beats Mox, but judging by the way I've been conditioned, the fact that he's taking these guys out one by one, unless Mox gets them the week before and drops them like a bad habit, I don't see Cope winning the belt.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you. One, the only reason I'm intrigued in this match is because of Adam Copeland putting these, taking these guys out one by one. I'm kind of interested in that. What I hated about the promo was when Claudio's like, I'm the one that's hunting you. I'm going hunting for you. What is there to hunt? You guys are in the same fucking small venue. For fuck's sake. There's only so many places you can go backstage. What is this hunting bullshit? It's shit like that, and it's small. It's little small shit that bugs me, I understand, but it still did. Now, as far as Adam Copeland beating Moxley at the pay-per-view, I disagree with you about Copeland losing. I think Copeland's going to win. I also think Christian's going to come down and take Copeland out with a briefcase or however it may be. It's going to be another Drew McIntyre title reign for 5 seconds. I think that Christian's going to take that title. If there's a little feud between him and Christian, it's not going to go anywhere. Christian's going to retain that title. I think that the number one contender who's going to be Swerve at that point, and we'll get to that later, but I think it's going to be Swerve. I see Swerve taking that belt off of Christian, and then I visualize there being the feud of Bobby Lashley against Swerve for the belt because they already have heat, and that would just be the natural progression of storylines with Swerve being against Bobby Lashley. It's kind of what.
All right. Do you think they recognize Drew McIntyre's 1 minute title reign? You do you?
I think look, I'll be honest with you. I've been watching AEW from the get-go, and I've been watching WWE for a long time. And I have zero doubts that they steal little things from one another.
Well, yeah, that's a gimme.
Right.
Okay,
so,
but now here's where I'm getting at, all right? Because WWE, well, first of all, they don't want to recognize Chris Benoit at all right? But WWE, before the incident, refused to recognize Chris's WCW heavyweight title run for 1 day before that, even before the incident. Okay. Yet they're going to recognize Drew McIntyre for a 3-minute title reign. Big Show had what? Another 1 day run or whatever at one point in time, too. And they recognize that, too.
Yeah. Real quick, and you talked about Chris Benoit being kind of like, canceled out by WWE. This should have been news. I forgot about it. There's now another guy that has been completely wiped from the WWE library, Dean Ambrose.
Oh, okay. Missed that.
It was just on. It was either Wrestling Inc. or Fightful Select reported. That's where I get my news from wrestling. They're two very respectable news sources for wrestling. So yeah, so there. Anything that John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, is in, will not be shown in the WWE library. Now, but it was vague, and my question is: does this mean that the Shield is going to be completely wiped out, or are they only talking about Dean Ambrose's single matches? That I don't know.
What they might do is just blot out his face, yeah, stuff like that.
And I think it's so fucking stupid. It's petty bullshit, man. Dumb.
What's the point? He was a WWE champion at one time, so you're gonna knock out 6 months of activity at least.
Yeah, but for what reason? Because you're pissed off that he went to a new company? I mean, according to Triple H, they don't even care about AEW. They're not on the same level. And I would agree with them. But why wipe the guy out? It's dumb because not only are you erasing Dean Ambrose, now you're erasing every opponent that he went against who possibly had good matches against him.
Right. Like Brock Lesnar.
But I feel the same way about Chris Benoit as well. You're not just taking out Chris Benoit, you're taking out Kurt Angle. You're taking out other wrestlers. Yep. It's dumb.
Yep. Oh, you know what? I think Chris winning the world title that night and Eddie coming out, I still think it's probably the greatest moment in WrestleMania history. I don't care what anybody says.
And I agree with you. And there's a lot of wrestling fans that agree with you. Oh, yeah. And you know what's funny, Mark? I find that the best wrestling fans out there are the ones, the wrestling fans that believe that Chris Benoit, the wrestler, should be celebrated for all he's done, are also the fans to seem to be that they're the ones that are sane, that are normal. I swear to you, it's the ones who are like, oh, Chris Benoit are the ones that are goofy as shit and the ones that, are part of this whole tribalism bullshit. It's
only 3 people know what truly happened that night, and all of them are dead. So we'll never know ultimately what truly happened that night.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to give my opinions about it because I have no facts to back it up. I just have an opinion, and I'm not going to get into that.
Well,
So,
I have a fact to back up about Chris Benoit. Fact. One of the greatest wrestlers, technical wrestlers, to step into the ring. Fact. You should be able to separate the man from the art. Fact. Because if we crucified everybody who made mistakes, and I get what Chris Benoit is more than a mistake, it was disgusting, it was terrible. But at the same time, there are lots of people out there who are not perfect. And if you trying to catch out everybody who makes mistakes, we have no more television shows, no more movies, no more professional wrestling, no more fucking anything. We wouldn't have our podcast because I've not always been the guy that I am now. It's these people who want to cancel shit out is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Again, celebrate the art. You can't change the fact that Chris Benoit was one of the greatest technical wrestlers to step in front of the ring, inside of the ring. The only person I think that was better than him, nope, it's not Bret Hart. It is Dean Malenko.
you know what? I'd run Kurt Angle up there pretty hard too.
Oh, and Kurt Angle, yeah, Kurt Angle as well.
Pretty
But
hard.
those three guys.
Yep. Okay, so let's look at a couple other things too. Jimmy Snuka, it came to light that he possibly murdered his girlfriend, who is cheating on with his wife at the time. Sonny accidentally killed somebody in a drunk driving accident. Well, I don't know if it's an accident when you're drunk, but whatever. And there was one other. Oh, Scott Hall murdered somebody in self-defense, but still murder is murder. All right. So I mean, it's not like they haven't had a murderer in the Hall of Fame. They have. All right. Now, was it after the fact? Yeah, all of them were in the Hall of Fame. Then, well, except for Hall and Snuka. Snuka, well, it wasn't brought to light till after Snuka was in the Hall of Fame, I guess. So, regardless, I agree with you. You got to separate the performer from personal life.
And by the way, they didn't take Jimmy Snuka out of the Hall of Fame either. He is still currently in the Hall of Fame.
Funny, and so is Scott Hall. So, all right. So now let's get back to the price of rice again. Swerve comes to the ring with Nana talking about his history making career pretty much, and he's right. Ricochet, we are not done. Pretty soon Ricochet shows up in his robe or in the robe saying, "No, buddy, we are done because I'm about ready to move on. Next time you're gonna see me is with a gold belt, and not the Gucci one." Then Nana steps up and says, "Fans deserve to see a rematch." And he talked to Tony Khan, and there is going to be a rematch. But whoever wins the match is going to be a #1 contender.
Now, that's all great. I liked it. Ricochet is much better on the mic as a heel than he is a babyface. But this is the big thing that happened in this segment. Chris Dana telling Swerve that if you don't win this, I have to be done with you.
Yep, that was my next line. Prince Nana might retire.
Now, no. Here's my question. What are the chances that, and this is going to contradict me saying Swerve being winning via the #1 contender, what is the chances that Prince Nana turns on Swerve and calls him a match? Now he manages Ricochet. He got his robe. Nana's a happy guy.
So you're saying that Nana might swerve?
Yes.
I think that'd be a good storyline, to be honest. I really do. All right. So next we go to Renee with Hangman. Hangman says, "If I find you, I'm going to take you out," pretty much.
Yep.
I like the thing going on with Hangman and MJF, but again, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a night, I don't need to see it. Once, twice is good.
Go ahead.
Once or twice is good enough for me. You don't need to beat a dead horse.
Normally, I would agree with you. But because of what happened with uh Christopher Daniels backstage, it kind of made sense because think of it as them updating on Hangman looking for MJF throughout the night, and then Hangman finding out that MJF left, and they're able to catch Hangman right before he left the building. So normally I agree, but because there are current things happening, to me it made sense this time.
And the horns on his little SUV look tacky. They look tacky. I mean, come on, horns on a Cadillac, all right, fine. But horns on an SUV, not even mounted on the front, but more like, 8 inches onto the hood. It looked like it was magnetized right on there.
I guarantee you that as soon as he got away from the camera shot, he took that shit off of his fucking
Like I said, it was on by a magnet, most likely.
right.
So next we go to Undisputed Kingdom versus FTR and Garcia. Even before I saw the end of this match, I wrote Cole next TNT champion.
Yeah.
This was a good match, and at one point in time, pretty much everybody was sprawled out outside the ring, which is kind of remnants of the '80s, I thought. But I did get a kick out of the 3 small packages. I was pretty shocked that Undisputed won, considering 2 were in submission holds, and Adam Cole rolls up Garcia for a pin. But nonetheless, I was, it was a good match.
Yeah. So one, I was not surprised that they won because I knew that they was going to somehow have Copeland and Garcia in a title match. Since Copeland beat Garcia, it makes sense why they tell that this match is going to happen now. But it's the end of the match when the FTR and Garcia would shake their hands, and I couldn't tell which one kicked.
I thought it was Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, so Kyle O'Reilly kicked the hand, which starts a squabble as well. You remember last week I told you that Adam Page had that expression like they're about to turn heel outside of the ring when they're fighting Orange Cassidy. And it didn't happen then, but I'm like, it's going to happen. So last night when Kyle O'Reilly kicked the hand, that's more seeds planted that the Disputed, they're going to turn heel. Look, these guys are a heel faction. When they were in NXT, the version of them at NXT, they were heels. And it makes sense for them to be heels. They act like heels for the most part. I think that they're better as heels. And I think that you're right. Copeland's going to beat Garcia with the help of some of the guys from the Undisputed Era, and they're going to officially turn heel.
It's not Copeland, it's Adam Cole.
I mean, Adam Cole, that's right. Adam Cole. Too many goddamn Adams with the C last name. Goddamn. AEW seems to have a lot of guys with very close names. It drives me nuts. So Adam Cole, yeah.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, then we go to Collision, Cole versus Garcia. You know what? I'm really impressed with how they are stacking Collision lately too. To be honest, Collision has really stepped up dramatically. I thought in the last 2 weeks, possibly 3 weeks, but definitely the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's. I'm telling you, AEW seems to be turning around. And you know what, Bob Cook actually said it perfectly when he said, Raw at one time wasn't this hot, right? It's like a roller coaster within wrestling. Sometimes they're hot, sometimes they go through that bad. Same thing with AEW. They start off real hot. It's only natural that they would dip down into being cold. And I think there's hopefully starting to climb back into being hot again because you're right. Dynamite has been good, and so has been Collision has been good as well. Collision's almost got to the point where it's if you're a true wrestling fan, it's a must see.
Yep. Now, you're talking about hot and cold. You're absolutely right. All right, but AEW went from hot to fucking frigid. All right, and the damage they did to themselves for 6 months to a year, it's going to take 2 years to get out of easily.
Right.
Now, anything short of that is miraculous, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Agree.
All right, so next we go to Cope and Claudio fighting in the crowd on the way to the ring. Soon it's 2-on-1 with Yuta and Claudio banging on Cope. Jay White comes out. Marina attacks Cope. UTA accidentally drops her like a bad habit. White and Cope attack. Death Riders pull out. Oh, Mox comes out, pulls out Yuta. Why would you pull out Yuta over Claudio? I have no idea. But okay. Both Claudio and Marina are out in the ring. Everybody's kind of like, is Adam going to hit her with a Chiquerto or whatever? And pretty soon Willow comes out and says, no, I'll do it pretty much. So she hits Marina with the chair.
So yeah, so now we have those two out as well. I tell you, Willow Nightingale. I hope this is a new side of her that she keeps, this aggressive side. I hate the whole smiley, oh, I love you gimmick she's been having since the beginning.
Bailey.
Was that?
She's like a version of Huggy Bailey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope she keeps this aggressiveness because I liked it. And I tell you, she's lost quite a bit of weight. She looks good right now. But yeah, I like this segment. Obviously we know that within the next week, Willa Yuta, he's gonna be taken out, so he should be scared.
He'll be taken out later.
Yeah, Moxley looked just disheveled, pissed. Is this happening to me? And I love how he said after the fact that Adam Copeland could have just asked him to do a one-on-one in a room, in a match, it didn't matter. Yeah, so we're going to see what's going to happen.
I'm pretty sure he did, and Mox said, nope, not happening. So.
Yep. But I keep on, Mark, I keep on going to this. There better be something in that fucking briefcase besides the goddamn title, or else a lot of people, a lot of fans are going to be asking what the fuck, because they presented this briefcase to be almost as important of the storyline as the title itself, because there's been a big mystery now. What's in the briefcase?
It's probably a new belt, to be honest.
I don't know. I hope personally that it's some type of a contract that Mox has been keeping because he didn't want this person to come. And I doubt it. I just want it to be more than a belt, more than even a new fucking belt. If it's a new belt, I'm going to be pissed off as well. It's dumb. At that point, it will officially be absolutely fucking stupid.
But what's the difference between that or Orange Cassidy putting it in a backpack?
Because Orange Cassidy would take it out during the match, when the title was on the line. Orange Cassidy, they didn't make this to be a big secret about what's in the bag. That's the difference. Marina is walking around with a handcuff to her arm. It's just they've made this briefcase a huge deal to storyline. So I want to know what's in it. And again, it fucking better be more than a title.
Yeah. All right. So next we go to Harley Cameron versus Deonna Purrazzo. Or Purrazzo, sorry. You know what? I like this match. I love what Harley says, feel the wrath. It gets me every time. I was disappointed that Harley got the win. I mean, I like Harley. I think she's on a fast track. I really do. But for her to beat Deonna, I'm sorry. It's like Murder Machine's losing tonight. I'm sorry. I like Harley won, but she shouldn't beat Deonna. Sorry.
I agree with you.
But I did like the move she used. It looked like a reverse crossroads.
Yeah. Move. Look, to me, Deonna is much better than Monet. And if Holly lost to Monet, it didn't make sense to me how she could beat Deanna, who, in my opinion, would absolutely kick Monet's ass. Now, I did like that the commentators brought out that they were shocked that this happened. You know, basically, she got lucky type of a thing. At least they added that aspect to it. Because anything could happen at any time. Anyone could get lucky one time and get that win, right? So, okay, she got lucky. But if they have a rematch and she beats her again, I'm going to be like, come on, this is a little, it's out there, especially for someone who's only won. This is only a circuit match that she's won in a very, very, very long time.
I thought it was her third, but I could be wrong.
All right, her third still.
Right. No, like I said, it was like the Murder Machines losing the night against the Outlanders. It just shouldn't have happened. As far as Peraza being better than Monet, you're absolutely right. But Monet's higher on the totem pole. If you ask me who I want to see in a match, I'd rather see Peraza, to be honest, than Monet.
Yeah.
Monet on the stick, but
Monet's only on the higher totem pole because of her star power that she has.
Yep.
It's not because of her wrestling skills.
No, it's not. So,
and I would look, I'll be honest, Mark. This is what I miss about the old days of wrestling. They went by actually how good you were in the ring back in the day. If you were damn good in the ring, you got featured that way. That's how they determined how good you were. Now it's like, okay, well, if you have the star power, it doesn't matter if it's in wrestling or on social media, you're going to be featured on top of the totem pole. And I hate that.
So explain to me Brad Armstrong. Phenomenal.
Was that?
I said, explain to me Brad Armstrong.
Well, Brad Armstrong was successful in his own right. He was title holder. And I get what you're saying. He should have been much more than what he was. I don't know, but look, think about Greg the Hammer Valentine. He didn't have a whole lot of star power. He wasn't that great on the mic, but he was good in the ring. The Polish Ivan
Putski.
With the punch.
Ivan Putski.
Yeah, Putski. I would consider him this massive guy with all the star power, that he was great on the mic. But look how he was in the ring. That's why he was what he was. And I can go on and on. I get it. Yeah, there's going to be the exception to the rules. Brian Armstrong should have absolutely, or Brad Armstrong should have absolutely been bigger than what he was. So yes, there's the exception to the rule, but I can name more guys that were on the top because of their wrestling abilities, much more so than now.
I'll give you that. All right, so next we go to a recap of Orange as international champion. What is the name of the belt that Takada has?
Keisha, or
The
you always make me
all the time.
because what?
The one that says bitch all the time. What's the name?
Yeah. That's a good question. And as wrestling podcasters, we should know this. There's just so many goddamn belts in AEW.
Yeah, because Takesha's got the international champ.
Right. To me, both of the belts are almost the same. It's like they have two IC belts.
I was thinking the same thing earlier. They should almost merge them two together.
Yeah.
Or find different names that aren't so close because I think they're pretty close in name.
Yep.
So, all right. So, as we go to recap of Orange as the international champion, um, oh, and then also we go to Claudio and Marina being carried out or carted out in an ambulance. And then we go back to Orange Cassidy versus Takeshita. The only thing I really say about this is Orange is quick as a hiccup. Um, he missed an orange punch, and that was almost. What is the word I want? What is the word? Matrix like, because he just went back. It was perfect. It was beautiful.
That was my favorite spot of the match. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wow, that was beautiful.
Yes, it was because it was just perfectly timed. Because punch or Orange came down with that punch, and he just went, "Oh, don't think so."
Yeah, if Takeshita would have even messed up by a half a second, he would have legit been punched in the mouth.
Yep. There's some nice chain moves, which you don't really see often in American style wrestling, but there's some nice chain moves. The beach breakdown on the announcer's table, I'm sure that table was supposed to give. It didn't. It looked like it fucking hurt. Um, I would be surprised if Orange Cassidy's walking funny for a week. Let's see. IKEA must make a fortune between WWE and AEW on desks. The half spin slam by Takeshita for the pin was beautiful. I don't. I think Excalibur called it something, but it was like a half spin slam. As
Yep.
holy shit, and it was done with force.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, it was the first time I think I've seen AEW finish on time or before time ran out.
Yeah. The only issue that I had with this match was it was predictable because knowing that Kenny Omega would be facing the winner at the pay-per-view, I knew that because of the feud that he has going on with Don Callis' family, that the Takeshita was going to win. So that this is more of a feud that they're having. So although there were some pretty close pins, because of knowing that it was Kenny Omega that was going to be facing the winner, some of that excitement and some of that holy shit, is he really dropped the belt tonight, was taken out for me. Other than that, match was great. AEW, for the most part, was great. Yeah, there was a few things that we're picking at, but it didn't take away from from Dynamite being a really good show last night. I would actually give it a solid B.
Yep, I agree. Solid B. And to be quite honest, I got more enjoyment at AEW last night than Raw on Monday.
Yeah, I like Raw on Monday. But I did prefer Dynamite last night. The only reason it didn't get a B plus was because of some of those things that we mentioned. The terrible thing with the fake blood and a few other issues that we talked about. But like I said, I'm actually excited for Collision on Saturday.
Yeah, but we're gonna be watching Elimination Chamber, so
Yeah, but I DVR Collision.
yeah, so do I. So now, um, Dynamite would have been a B plus or even an A minus if Megan Bain was on it.
Dude, I was gonna bring that up. Why was she not on it? I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy Harley. I do. I really do. But Megan Bain should be fast tracked within a year to be world champion.
Yeah. I want to see her go. I want it to be her against Tony Storm.
It's not quite ready yet.
No, not yet. I'm saying this is I want Tony Storm to still have that belt when Megan is ready.
They need to bring back Monet's former bodyguard, have them two go at it because they're about the same size.
That that's something else Tony Khan dropped the ball on. Like, what
Oh,
happened to that? What?
she was a brick shit house.
Yeah, and it's like she just disappeared
Right.
after Monet turned on her.
Yep. No, Monet didn't turn on her. She was gonna, and the girl quit.
That's right. Yeah.
Might be under contract with somebody else, though. Whether it's All Japan or whatever, I don't know. She might be under contract with somebody else right now. Oh, speaking of contract, I didn't know that, and I think you did mention this, that Britt Baker and AEW are separated ways. But yeah, today I saw that Britt Baker is no longer with AEW.
She'll be showing up at NXT.
I think she's probably gonna be more TNA, to be honest. I don't think she can handle WWE roads.
Might as well call TNA, WWE. I guarantee you, if I was a betting man, WWE is going to buy TNA.
I don't know, because they've got that show on A&E, Legends and Future Greats or
Yeah,
whatever.
LG.
They've Evolve going on. Then they got NXT. They got their fingers in TNA. They might be spreading themselves a little too thin.
TKO, though. Speaking of NXT, what do you think of Ricky Stark's new name, Ricky Saints?
I don't think a name change is really going to matter much, to be honest. Ricky Starks is going to be Ricky Starks, regardless if it starts
Well,
or
but let's just stick of the name, though, because this is a absolutely a WWE fucking name, like Ricky Saints. It sounds horrible. It's fucking terrible.
Well, I guess Jordan Grace is picking a new name now, too. Now, why would you have Jordan Grace do 2 Royal Rumbles under Jordan Grace and then ever change your name?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the copyrights, whatever, but,
Yeah.
some use their real names, the Brock Lesnar's, the Shelton Benjamins, some of these guys have used their real names, so you can't copyright it. Big deal.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah.
royalty are you really losing?
Yeah. Now, apparently, I don't watch NXT very much, but it was told to me that during Ricky Saints' match, Ricky Saints, God, I hate that. Apparently, one of the commentators made the comment that Tony Khan sure did drop the ball by letting this one go. And I'm like, really? So now NXT is going to start doing the petty, stupid shit the AEW is doing.
So wait a minute,
Why?
Tony Khan?
What's that?
They actually mentioned Tony Khan on. Really? Wow. That's some ballsy shit. So
Yeah, this is not the Monday Night Wars. So stop acting like it. I actually want to say, and Tony Khan needs to concentrate just on his product and stop mentioning or doing little things that's throwing rocks at WWE. And I was really glad that WWE was not doing this, but with them, saying that on NXT, I hope this was just a one-time thing. I hope that whoever said it was someone that kind of went rogue and got his ass chewed out for it. I just don't like it. It's not organic.
I don't know. I don't think you'll ever see a Monday Night War again. I don't think you'll ever see it.
Oh,
I mean, for that to happen, you need to have John Cena go to AEW and CM Punk go back to AEW, and Randy Orton go to AEW, I mean, and you're not going to see one of those, let alone all 3 of them go back or go. Although I tell you what, I'd shit my bricks if John Cena ever showed up at AEW.
that's not going to happen.
No, it's not. Or The Undertaker.
Yeah, that's definitely won't happen.
Nope, not unless Shane or Vince get involved with it. So if Vince and AEW hooked up, Undertaker would be there because Undertaker's a Vince guy through and through.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know what you'd call him because you couldn't call him Undertaker, I'm sure.
Yep. But yeah, this ends a recap of Dynamite. Uh, we both gave them B's. Coming up in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have Mr. Herbert Simmons. I'm sorry, and he's been in business 50 years. He, is probably one of the most successful promoters. He worked with Randy Orton's dad, Ace. He actually trains these guys. Really excited to have him on a podcast. I can only imagine the stories that he's going to be able to have. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And again, this coming Tuesday, B. Brian Blair is going to be on the podcast doing a recap on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, not hopefully, I have to have these issues fixed. I still hear feedback for some reason. Yeah, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. I have a lot of for the next month. I have guests lined up to come on a podcast to do interviews with. So I'm really excited about that. I have the Idling Girl, TT, coming as well. And what happened, Bob? I mean, Bart, you went dark. There you are.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
These technical difficulties, man. What the fuck? Gotta get the shit fixed up.
Somebody tried calling me.
Oh, okay. But anyway, yep. So that's what we have coming up. This concludes our recap. We're going to actually do our predictions. No, because we're not doing a recap of Friday Night SmackDown because of the Elimination Chamber. So let's do our predictions now. Tell that person to stop calling you.
Right, I know. Sorry.
The men's, I am predicting CM Punk. The women's, I am predicting Alexa Bliss.
Shit, I think it pooped out on me.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. For the men, CM Punk. Women's, Alexa Bliss.
All right. I'm gonna go with Xena, and I'm okay with Bliss.
Yeah,
There?
I just don't think Cena's winning it. We'll see.
Yep. So
We'll see. Those are our predictions. We will be back on Sunday to do a recap of the Elimination Chamber. Excited for this one. It's pretty stacked. There's a lot of unknown, a lot of potential fuckery to be happening on Saturday night. So yeah, I'll be excited about that. Mark, anything to say?
No, just ring the damn bell. I gotta go.
Ring the damn bell. You guys have a good one.